much stuff floating around. I don't know. People trying to say they wasn't together.
Basically was trying to get into a threesome. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another experience known as Kay and Manny. I'm the one they call Manny. She's the lady of all K's. And I know what you're thinking. Manny, why your eyes are red? I'll tell you why. Last night, I went to a wine festival, which included a wine tasting. Y'all can pretty much figure that out. But I am here. We are doing this, and we got an important subject to talk about. But other than that, how are you doing, Kay?
I'm good. I'm up this Saturday morning. I'm ready to talk to the people. We have a excellent show topic to talk about today. This is the constant battle that everybody is talking about. And, we just got to have this conversation because it's so much needed. So many different facts and opinions is floating out there. And we just want to come bring the perspectives to you. And, Kay and Manny always does that. So that's
right, absolutely. Today. And the subject we're going to talk about, and we're definitely going to have to unpack this, is to basically to vax or not to vax. Right. In other words, what are your thoughts about all these vaccine mandates? Now, to give some context, this is what's going on. So President Biden unveiled a new COVID-19 strategy, which is going to impact 2/3 of the United States workers. Basically done this a few weeks ago. So in other words, let me slow this down a little bit. Now, since Pfizer, which is one of the vaccine companies, basically is now getting full approval by the FDA, President Biden is basically mandating vaccines to not only essential workers, but United States government workers. And a lot of people are upset about that. Yes. Now let's bring some numbers here, okay? Over the past year and a half, obviously, over 100,000 people died from COVID-19 related symptoms. Never mind what they were, they're all related to COVID-19. Now, the first thing I want to point out that we here at Kay and Manny, this is our thoughts and opinions. We're not telling you to get vaccinated. Well, we're not.
We're not telling you. We're just giving you straight facts. We're giving you facts. Then We're going to give you our opinion, and you will make an educated decision. Okay, so we will not be held accountable. I'm saying Kay and Manny didn't do nothing but provide facts. And they spoke their truth.
That's basically what we're saying, and we want to make that very, very, very clear.
Very clear.
I want everybody to know, because let's be real. A lot of people are coming for other people's necks because they want to point out the fact that they want to get vaccinated. Now, before we continue on, your thoughts, my lady of Kay?
My thoughts? I'm going to be honest with you. I really kind of feel like, and a lot of people probably feel this way too, that is really being forced upon us, because here's one thing that I thought about, right? So next year, I have a couple of travel plans in my mind. And, sometimes when you travel certain places, they require you to have vaccinations, to make sure that you have that. So I'm like, I already see it. I just see it. I see that's going to be, because this is not just a U.S. thing. This is going all around the world. So when it's affected all around the world, then I believe, a vaccination like this is probably going to say it's going to be required. So I already see that it's going to be forced upon us. A lot of us are not going to like it. And also too, I was put in a situation because I have a brand new family member that I'm so in love with. He is so beautiful. And the mother of this beautiful baby, she's like, well, if anyone's going to be around my child, at first she was like, they have to have a mask on, but then they're like, she's like, well, I'm requiring you got to have your shots. And I totally understand, because when my son was born, I was telling certain people, you got to have certain shots before you come around my baby, because that's my baby. You know what I'm saying? And as a mother, I have that decision. It's a precious, innocent baby and they don't have nothing yet, and then I don't need all your germs flowing on my baby. So I understand the perspective that she's in. So to me, because of that, and because of, how it is going, outside of the world, it's kind of putting me in a position that, hey, it might be that time. Now, for those who watch the Wednesday walks over the summertime, I've already shared my story with you guys. I caught COVID-19, and it was a rude experience, okay? Like a couple of months ago, like early in the year, and I was inpatient for 5 days in the hospital, okay? It was so serious where I had double pneumonia in my lungs, and when I said it was so hard to breathe, and you can even ask Manny when Manny used to check on me, and I appreciate him doing that. I couldn't even talk. I was like grasping for air. It was no joke. And then I'm telling everybody, you have to text me. And then after a while, I couldn't even respond because I was so exhausted, because that's how it works. It just exhausts your body. And I would never forget that feeling. It was a crazy feeling. Now, even though I know once it's over, you have the antibodies in your body. So, and that lasts up to 9 months. So I'm saying to myself, pretty soon, that 9 months is going to expire, but I also understand too that, because of the Delta variant, and then I also know that it can mutate into other things. I'm looking at this perspective. I'm really thinking that, what, I have children, I have families that I love. I want to live long. And, I'm saying to myself, maybe I should be. So I think sometimes when you are put in situations, it's going to change your perspective. So right now, at first, when it first happened, and I knew that this disease was real. I'm like, this is real. So I'm watching people like, this is real. But I will say, I hope I don't get it. And here's the ironic thing, guys. I have to share this. The whole ironic thing is, before I caught COVID, I was taking care of my grandmother. I was helping my mom take care of my grandmother before she passed. And my thing was, I was barely going anywhere. I'll just go to the store and back home, and that was it. Or, when I work, I'm working from home. And my thing was, I did not want to give it to my grandmother. I did not want to contract it and pass it along to her. And when she passed away, I kid you not, maybe about a week and a half later, I caught it, but I didn't know I had it because I just had mild symptoms. But when I lost my taste and my smell, I'm like, oh no, girl. I said, get yourself tested. And I knew it was gonna come back positive. And I think for about 2 weeks, it lingered. It felt like flu-like symptoms. And then one day I woke up, I told my son, I said, call 911, because it was so bad that I couldn't breathe. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't even barely move. It took me, I had to crawl down my steps. Do y'all hear me? That's how bad it was. So my 18-year-old is looking like, oh my gosh, my mom, he's so concerned. And I dragged myself downstairs. And then so when the ambulance came, it was easy for them to transport me. And that was the only reason why I did that. But I'm sharing this story with you because, like I said, sometimes it puts you in a position just to think differently. So, I just wanted to share that, guys, just to let you know that sometimes it hits home. And when it hits home, it's more personal. So I want, for the people who's thinking, I don't even know if this is still real. Like, if you're still saying that, I'm going to need you to come out that mindset, because it's very much real.
Exactly. And thank you for sharing your story, by the way. And on top of that, again, I've said this earlier in the show, over 100,000 deaths. Okay. That's 100,000,000. And I'm going to be real with you. I mean, if you do the math, that's more deaths in this country than any war that we have faced. Now, if you're wondering, did I have vaccinated? Yes, I have. I'm putting it. This is my card, by the way, just in case y'all are checking. And yes, it's far away from here, so it won't show my government or my address or my birth date. But it was just one of those things, because just like you.
Wait, Manny, I gotta cut off. Cover your name and show them the card, because they'll be like, how people is. That ain't his real card. No, they need to see it. Show the people. Thank you, Manny.
Where I got my vaccinated shots.
Right.
All that good stuff. So basically, I had a family member, my brother, caught COVID-19. Now, thankfully, he just only had mild symptoms where he lost his smell and lost his taste. Now, how he found out was kind of funny because he just, he has a 1-year-old son now. Well, at the time, he was still a newborn. And basically, he had a blowout. Now, mothers and fathers, if you know what a blowout is, yeah. And he couldn't smell anything.
First of all, for the people who's confused when he had a blowout, the baby did poo-poo on himself, okay? Because sometimes Manny be saying certain words. I'm like, what are you saying, Manny? That's that Texas stuff. That Texas talk. What?
Wait, what?
Yes. What is a blowout? Listen, if you're speaking to someone from the north, a blowout, we want to think that, is that a fight? He did number 2. He had a bowel movement. He did poo-poo. Anyways, go ahead, proceed, Manny.
And it was all over. I mean, it got up to his shirt. It was so bad. but
and he didn't smell that.
And he didn't smell it. And his wife was like, "You don't smell that?" No. And basically, just to be funny, she put the baby right up here and couldn't smell it. So yeah, that's when he learned that something is very wrong, and then basically notify me, notify my parents, and notify my grandmother. But to make this part of the show shorter, I mean, I got vaccinated just for the simple fact that I have parents who have health conditions. I have a grandmother who's in her 90s, and I have an aunt who also has health conditions, and I have a niece and a nephew who are under the age of 5. So I did it. I didn't do it for me.
Right.
I did it for them.
Family. Right.
Right. I did it for them. And that's the reason why I got vaccinated. But moving on, let's talk about this, the executive order that President Biden did a few weeks ago. Basically, it's requiring all executive branch workers and federal contractors to be vaccinated, which includes...
You said federal contractors?
Federal contractors.
Ooh, all those people, think about all y'all people who got contracts with the government. That's pretty much saying a lot of people.
Right. That includes military, people who work at the Pentagon, people who work in government offices. I
have literally contracts with the government.
Correct. And I think essential workers as well. I'm not sure about that. Don't quote me on that. Right. Now, let's be honest with ourselves. A lot of this executive order that has been sent out, a lot of people are disagreeing with it. And matter of fact, a few states have banned this mandate, including the state of Texas. Well, we're not going to talk about them.
We're not going to talk about Texas because y'all wilding right now. Y'all government is wilding. That's all I got to say.
Thank you. That's all we need to say about Texas right now. But but the other states that are banning or at least ban vaccinating mandates are basically Georgia, Indiana, Montana, Tennessee, Utah, Arkansas, and I'm pretty sure some more states are going to follow suit. But nevertheless, and then on top of that, the state of California is requiring you, well, not requiring you, is asking you to show proof of vaccination wherever you go, such as a restaurant or a bar or things of that nature.
And New York is doing the same thing.
Correct. And some people are very much against that as well because it's like you're keeping tabs on us and everything of that nature. Go ahead.
I have something to say towards the people who have something to say about that, right? Because you have to look at it from both perspectives, because I always like to talk from the consumer side and the business owner side. Now, as an individual, absolutely, you have the right to say, I don't want that. You know, why I got to do that? You have the right to feel how you feel, right? But at the same time, too, the owner of that establishment, the goal of that owner is to protect everybody, because what you don't understand is it falls as a liability on these owners. They are pretty much being responsible for your health and for their workers. You know what I'm trying to say? They're trying to keep everyone safe. So you have to also respect their decision on how they perceive things, because what if you went to a restaurant and then, you contracted COVID, and this is just a scenario, right? But when they go back and do the research and see where you contracted, I contracted from this restaurant. So now, I contracted the coronavirus from Joe Slow's Pizza. Now Joe Slow's Pizza is all in the media, and now they lose business. You see what I'm saying? Right. But a lot of people don't look at it from that eyesight, and I have to put it to that perspective, because a lot of people don't understand why business owners are taking the precaution that they are. And that's one of the reasons, because a lot of people don't understand we have to protect our establishments. Right. Yeah, people may not care, but we care as business owners. And also, too, like I said, I'm speaking from a consumer side and I'm speaking from a business owner side.
Right. And also, a lot of major corporations are requiring their employees to get vaccinated as well. And basically, it's a requirement now. Right. So Walmart, Google, Facebook, Apple, Walgreens, CVS, Lyft, and Uber, Goldman Sachs, Microsoft, Chevron, Bank of America, Disney, McDonald's, and I'm sure that list is ongoing.
These are big corporations. And so at the same time, too, I want to say to people, what do you expect? These are big corporations with large amount of people. Everybody can't work from home. And I understand that we are in the age where people want to work from home and it's available, but not everything can be done from home. That's why, as you can see, we're all seeing it, going to these fast food restaurants. The lines are ridiculous. But I have to say this to you. Let me tell y'all something. And I'm sure y'all see it floating over social media all the time. When you see Burger King, McDonald's, just to name some of these big organizations, and they're putting it for a higher sign, I'm pretty sure, I hope you feel this way, that it shows that there's much an appreciation that's needed for those type of workers. You see, they are needed because you want to go outside to eat. I need to put that in perspective to you. And all of them to go outside and they're going to be around each other. What do they have to have that requirement? We need you to get vaccinated.
Right.
And then listen, let me tell y'all something. Y'all already know Lady K. I'm all Miss Healthy. I'm all Miss Natural. I really am. And I do things every day to boost my immune system. But I also understand too, it's not just about me. And that's the perspective that I had to come into. Yes, I'm doing those things. I'm doing the requirements, but other people are not. So it's like, it really is a tough situation, because I'm looking at it from everybody's perspective. It really is tough. It's tough out here. We all battling different things. It's tough, Manny.
I mean, it's not fun.
No.
Losing a loved one because of a decision. Matter of fact, right now I'm dealing with it, but I learned from a family friend, and we're going to jump into this part of this show. A family friend of mine contracted COVID, and unfortunately, there's a special treatment that she can get. Problem is, in the city of Dallas, everybody's using it. In other words, there's no space in any of these. Only one hospital has it, or one hospital has it in the city of Dallas. And if you live in Texas, it's barely a hospital downtown. And unfortunately, they have no room. So she had to be flown to Denver, Colorado to get this treatment.
Wow.
So that's and mind you, that is the closest to Dallas. Never mind Austin, never mind Houston, never mind New Orleans, never mind wherever. He had to go to Denver, Colorado.
Right.
Now, also, to date, right now, there are some cities out there in California, Jersey, and New York City are requiring high school students to be vaccinated.
Really? I didn't hear that part. I didn't know that.
Well, it's
Wow.
starting to come about at this moment, and I know a lot of colleges are starting to require that as well. So one thing I always tell people, and I always want to give them the perspective of this, I'm not telling you to get vaccinated. I just want you to understand that when you look at the lay of the land, understand that this is a decision that's bigger than you. Now, I understand that a lot of people will go above and beyond and look at fact after fact, will fact check themselves to death. And then on top of that, you got the random idiot posting something about COVID-19 saying, oh, COVID causes cancer or COVID, has metal in it. The vaccine has metal in it. Or as Nicki Minaj was saying, you can research this. It, somebody she knew had the Moderna virus, or well, no, took the Moderna vaccine, and unfortunately his testicles got big. But I never thought that was because I had the Moderna. Never mind. But no, it's
right. We're not going to go there. But I do want to say this, right? Because a lot of people are concerned about what's in it. I honestly believe if we got educated in that sense,
right.
I think it would take the ease off, to do so. But we already know that, it's not their job to do that. So it's like, it would be nice if someone in this profession, in this medical profession, can actually sit down and say, well, let me just go into something. They don't do that with us. They just say, hey, here it is, take it. You know what I'm trying to say? So I think that would ease a lot of people and how they feel and how they think, because what a lot of people don't understand is that when the vaccinations in general, when vaccinations are being prepared, there's, of course, they have to do their research, and also too, they also have to have the funding. In this case, because it was able to move so fast, the funding was available. You see what I'm saying? The funding was available because it was an urgent matter. So, those are two different components that I was able to do my research on, that, those, that's what makes up, to do a vaccination, the research and the funding. And it's always like that, it's always been like that. So, but again,
and not to cut you off, and I'm sorry, for those who want to know where to get the research on, I mean, I have a couple of websites that you can go and read and see what's going on with the vaccine. One of them is webmd.com. That's WEBMD.com. On top of that, you can look at apnews.com as well. And also you can check out the CDC. You can also look at them as well and kind of get an actual account of what this mandate is, on account of what the vaccine is doing. Okay. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, and let me preface this, and I mean this very, very seriously. Just because you got the vaccine doesn't mean you won't contract COVID-19. I know people who have contracted it while they had the vaccine. I know people who contracted it while they were in between shots. And I've seen people who contracted it without the vaccination. And unfortunately, those people might be getting it worse, but I don't know that for a fact. But we here at Lady K Enterprises want to encourage you to do your research.
Absolutely.
Do your research and then make that decision for not only for yourself, but for those around you.
And before we leave, Manny, I just want to share this story with everyone. I think it's imperative. It was a eyesight opener for me that day. One day I went into the Dollar Tree store, and I was getting a little couple of stuff, notebooks, papers, and pens and stuff like that for my son, right? Coloring books. And there was one cash register, and then there was one manager. And then you see people coming in our store, the lines are long and stuff like that. So by the time I got close to the register, the lady that was at the register, she asked the customer, Miss, when you are finished with the cart, do you mind pushing the cart back to the front? And the lady was just, just smiled and said, okay. And I paid for my stuff, and I saw the work. I saw how overwhelmed she was. And when I stepped out the door, the lady was like, she has a lot of nerve, to be asking me to push it back. Does she know I have certain health conditions, and it's a lot for me? I'm saying this to say this because it takes a community effort. Okay. In this case, Everybody's battling with something. You see, that old lady just told me I have health issues. The lady inside is overwhelmed. And if we could just push that cart back, because you know what the lady told me inside the store? She said, at the end of the night, when I close, I am responsible to go get all those carts and push it in. Now, hold on. I know people say, isn't her job description? No. It's in our description as human beings to help one another because it's a community effort. Absolutely. Let me tell you something, and I'm still working on this because God had to correct me. When I go to the grocery stores, I did have a habit of leaving my cart out next to the store. And it would help the person who's coming outside to, just go to the cart thing and push it in and then go about business, but it's not. He has to go within that whole, I want to put something in some perspective to you. Can you imagine in 15, 10, or 5 degrees weather, your son is going outside in a big shopping and a big plaza collecting carts because people don't know how to push it in the designated area.
Right.
It's a community effort. If we can just do one thing just to help one another, that's it. It's not about, I can and this person and that's their job. It's our job as human beings just to be kind to one another.
Right.
And right now, kindness is needed because everyone is battling something. So with that being said, everyone, I appreciate you watching our show today. I hope it was informative. Please go ahead and do your research. Today's show is sponsored by Lady K Enterprises. We are a financial service firm that specializes in cryptocurrency, and we also help business owners expand their businesses by providing virtual assistant services. If you need any additional information, you can contact us at 570-330-7054, or you can visit the website at www.ladykay, and K is spelled K-A-Y, enterprises.com. Everyone, thank you for tuning in. We will see you next week here at 11 a.m. Continue to follow us here at YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, and Apple. And we'll see you guys next Saturday here at 11 a.m.
Yes, see you next week. And hopefully I don't have any redness in my eyes.
Manny, stop. It's always a jokester. Have a good day, everybody.
Yes.
Lady K.